The Texas Supreme Court today heard oral arguments which may finally end a dispute that goes all the way back to 1979. Approximately 5,000 Dallas firefighters and police officers claim the city of Dallas owes them back pay as a result of a voter-approved referendum in 1979.
The argument today was, I think, a good one for our side. The city of Dallas's position is effectively that they can do as they please, that the voters don't matter, that they can choose to ignore a referendum that the voters have passed or not. Our argument today was that you can't ignore a voter-approved referendum. You must comply with what the voters ask you to do. They're arguing that they have immunity from the referendum, that they don't, that the referendum, whatever it means, they can, or simply because they are a city, entitled to ignore it. That is their argument, and I hope that the Supreme Court is going to reject that argument in favor of the voters of an area that compel their government to do something. And I hope the Supreme Court is going to say, when the voters compel a government to do something, the government must do it.
My name's Joe Betzel. I'm a Dallas firefighter. I've been a Dallas firefighter for almost 28 years. And I'm one of the original plaintiffs in the lawsuit that was filed in 1994. We want the referendum that was passed by the citizens of Dallas enforced by the city of Dallas, which they have not done, and they've done very little to correct that through the years, even though this suit is in year 16. It's 16 years old almost.
The original referendum, approved by a more than 2-to-1 margin by the voters, guarantees the firefighters and police officers that the differential in pay between frontline officers and the command staff would remain the same over time. The City Council then adopted the referendum as a binding ordinance that could only be withdrawn by another vote of the citizens of Dallas.
Whether the city can afford it or not was a question that its voters considered in 1979, and they determined that the firefighters and police officers were entitled to a pay raise, to stay in step in their pay raises, and then the city of Dallas chose to ignore that. So if the city of Dallas has a liability, large or small, it is a liability that they created for themselves.
The taxpayers are the ones who passed the referendum. Now, it is true that the case, because it's been extended for years by the city, has gotten large. And we understand that. We don't want to damage the public in any type of large settlement. We're willing to discuss settlement issues and try to get the case over with. The city's been reluctant to do that. And so the public passed the referendum. The city did not enforce it. And we've asked them for years to do that, and they've been very slow to correct some of those issues.
For most cases argued at the time this one's being argued, it should have an opinion by June or July of next year.